So it's crazy in a cactus like this, like you just see and you're like, oh, those are some cool flowers, but then like when you start getting up close on the flowers, you can see how much life and just interaction and just little ecosystems. He has like a little face. That little guy's just like throwing a fit on this. I don't know why, like I zoom into like all the little stuff going on around, and they're like, wow, look at this beautiful view, and I'm like, look at that bug, like he's carrying an ant. Like the beetles do handstands and then the lizards do like push-ups. I don't know, it's cool. Sometimes the thorns are worth the shot. After a long day of resupplying and doing laundry and things like that, we finally made it back to the trail just after dark, and we are camped literally under a bridge. Well, we're setting up under the bridge, but it's gonna be a great spot, and the traffic of I-10 is going to be our lullaby, and the trains that occasionally come by on the railroad tracks. But it's been a good day. I guess more or less a zero that was not intended, but you know, we hiked hard yesterday, 22.2 miles. And what could be more humbling than sleeping under a bridge once in your life, or twice, or however many times you decide to hike a trail and there's a bridge. So we have a sweet mate with us tonight under the bridge. His name is Ben the Crow. I hope he doesn't like peck our eyeballs out. So there's a train passing right now, and we have a bet going that we had to guess Price is Right style according to Perk. So you can't exceed, the number can't go over it, but it's how many trains are gonna pass. So there's a train passing right now because we're up by the railroad track, and 2 went by earlier, and so we were like, well, we'll place bets on like, you know, how many more are gonna come by before 7 a.m. So Tony bet, well, I bet first and I said 7. And then Perk said 9, is that, yes. And then Tony was like the $1 bidder, you know, so he said 1. So there is a train going by right now, so it's like 9 p.m. He's totally going down. It's not gonna happen. So the 8th train is going by, and Perk is pretty happy right now because that means that he wins. And it was all 28 minutes before 7 o'clock in the cutoff time. Otherwise, I would have won. Goodbye, bridge, sweet bridge. Until we meet again. Oh boy, I've been seeing these and wondered if we were gonna walk by them, but maybe so. I'm up for danger. Although I am thrilled to be out of the snow, I have to say that while you're walking in the snow, or at least on like snowy slopes, for me, I was focusing so much on each of my steps that I didn't really notice the weight of my pack. I am pretty happy to be out of the snow though. I did bounce my ice axe and micro spikes to a place ahead right before Mount Baden-Powell, because apparently it's got significant amounts of ice and snow on it still, so just in case. And I sent it priority in a flat rate box so I can always bounce it ahead to the Sierras from there if I need to. This section of hill right here reminds me of a Hank Williams song, and the lyrics say, when that open road starts to call on me, there's something over the hill that I gotta see. And this right here makes sense because I'm just wondering what in the world is over this hill. Probably looks a lot like what I've already seen, but like I'm just itching to find out. Well, there it is. That's what was over the hill, more hills. They're beautiful. Ow! This is so pretty! The bad days are worth it when you see stuff like this. So pretty. Kind of looks like a salt flat or something, but I don't think it is. So I know a lot of women have asked, you know, should I cut my hair before a thru hike? So I thought I would answer that question real quick while I don't have too much wind going on. But anyway, my answer is, you know, if you love having long hair, keep it. And if you decide you want to cut it while you're out on the trail, you're not really going to care. You know, if you would just want it gone, you're not really going to care if it's the perfect look. Plus, I mean, your hair's not going to be beautiful on trail anyway, right? So, but I actually like having mine long, and I just braid it either in a single braid like that, or in you know, pigtail braids. But difference in the AT and the PCT is the PCT is a lot windier, at least in this portion. So I got some bobby pins from the store. I got one floating around back there somewhere to try to help. And you can use a buff or bandana. I just don't like having something like that on my head because it makes me sweat more. So and then I just comb it out once in the morning and once at night before I go to bed. That's pretty much it. So and baby powder. I always, you know, it starts looking real greasy, like I put some baby powder in it. So I hope that helps. We found water. Yeah. So water in the desert is something that a lot of people are concerned about, but it's just one of those things you get used to. So like on the AT, we had it every 3 to 4 miles, but out here, not as much. But it's just something that you know, learn to deal with. Like, I was terrified to dry camp, especially after one night when I was near a water source. I didn't put the screw tightly enough on one of my bottles and all of the water leaked out. But you know, it's just something that you learn to double check and you learn to deal with like anything else. So it's just a new challenge of this trail. So we're here at Whitewater River having a snack. This is the first legit river that we've really seen. It's pretty awesome. Look. Beautiful. What do you have here? And there's Mount San Jacinto. Can still see it miles and miles away. It's a beautiful evening. Sun is getting low. Won't be long till I find a place to set up camp. This was our sweet spot last night. Perk cowboy camped.
Hell yeah.
Like a champ. How was that cowboy camping in here in the coyotes?
That was exciting. I really enjoyed it. I mean, things always sound closer than they are. And they sounded like right over by Tony's tent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope he's okay. And then I heard them recede and I was like, I guess he's okay.
Yeah, or else they got what they were after. How is the quilt working out for you?
It's great now that the nights have been a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make it.
Sweet. It's a little after 8 and it's already pretty warm this morning. And dry camped last night, so there was no water source. But thankfully it's only like 2.7 miles to the next water source that is usually reliable, so I have a little less than half a liter, so I'll be fine until I get there. You don't thirst to death in one day. I do still love my Platypus gravity filter, but I'm getting used to using the Sawyer straight on the bottle. But it's nice to not have to hold up the dirty bag and, you know, wait for it to filter. And even when I'm cooking and stuff, I can just squeeze this directly into my food pot. So on the AT, I took the time to like take the bladder and squeeze into a bottle so that I could drink, you know, directly clean water. But while you can't like chug water through this thing, I mean, that's probably the main limitation. It's kind of convenient just to be able to scoop up some dirty water in a stream and then just go on. Sometimes the desert can be rather brutal. Park and I were thinking about night hiking tonight, and then out of nowhere this wind rolled in. I don't know, it's kind of literally concerning when it blasts real hard. You might blow off the mountain, so gonna stop at the next water source and cook at least, and then maybe make a decision there. But this is Old Burn area also. I guess it was closed last year, folks couldn't hike through, but this year they're letting us hike through. And well, we ended up deciding to camp near the water and not get back up on the ridge, because we're actually in a good little spot to kind of keep some of the wind off of us. So just gonna call it a night here and maybe do some night hiking tomorrow, just depending on, you know, what the day and the weather holds. What is this snow doing here? I'll be darned. I reckon it makes sense. I'm at about 8,600 feet of elevation, so I reckon it would make sense that there's snow. I was wondering when I got up this high if I would end up seeing more, but well, it's a new day and the wind is still kind of blowing right now, not nearly as rough as it was last night. It's kind of enjoyable during the day if it's not so windy that you get sandblasted, but it seems like a nice day. And I hear that there are trash cans about 7 miles ahead at this little cabin that you can stay in. So the trail life is all about little victories and kind of getting over expecting instant gratification. So like, instead of carrying my trash all the way to town, you know, I know that if I push 20 or 7 more miles today that I get to dump it. And it's like little victories like that. And you know, you don't get things right when you want them. Like, you have to, you know, continue to work for them. And I mean, a 2,000+ mile trek is, you know, obviously not something that's instant gratification. So I know trail life changes you, and it makes you appreciate small things like, you know, trash cans and running water. Makes you appreciate all the little things in life that you take for granted. I think it's also learning to recognize the things that you can change in your life and the things that you can't, because when you're out here on a trail like this, you can get mad at the wind all you want, but guess what? Like, you're still gonna have to put your tent up in it, and it's still gonna blow things around, and it's gonna be aggravating. But then you learn, like, well, I just have to appreciate the days that aren't windy when I set my tent up and when everything goes perfectly, because like, I can't change the wind. Like, the wind's gonna blow whether I want it to or not, or I can't make it not rain, you know? So it just helps you identify, like, okay, I can get mad and make myself more miserable right now, or I can just get over it and learn to appreciate the good days.